Hey everyone, Sycra here, and welcome to another episode of Pointy Chins, where I take you through my art journey. Now, this episode is called Bristol, and that's because I'm going to be using a different paper, Bristol paper, later on. And the reason is, I was commissioned by a guy. This is all pre-convention, so this is April 10th, 2015, and the convention still wasn't until May 8th, I think. So it's a good month until the convention. But I was commissioned to do a drawing of Ms. Marvel that I would then give the guy at the convention. He would go and pick it up. And I've never done things like this, like traditional drawing commissions that I draw a character and then give it to the person afterwards. All my commissions have been digital. So, to begin with, here's just some sketches with the green pen, because that's all I had at the time. And this guy looks pretty funny. And yeah, pretty much like this is, I guess, par for the course right now, some cat thing. But then here I started with the Ms. Marvel thing. So, haven't drawn her before ever. I didn't really even know this character. And so I just open up Google, type in Ms. Marvel, go to images and see what I can find and do some sketches. And I wanted to have her in my style. And I wanted something dynamic and cool. And so here's some, I mean, this is kind of cool. It's got some energy to it. This one's got an S-curve to it. And then here were different ideas, like what if I had it so it wasn't a vertical composition, but more of a horizontal composition. So thumbnailing. And this one I kind of liked. So it's like, yeah, okay, maybe something like this. Maybe something where she's flying towards the camera. What about maybe a more iconic pose? Or make it horizontal, but a similar pose. So just exploring. And here, just doing some more proportion stuff, because I don't know why, like I still have to do this where I have to revisit the proportions or they end up going back to my old realistic proportion. I guess this is the case of still not enough mileage. Maybe I'm forcing it too much with the style thing, but I feel like I kind of have to because I'm making up for lost time. I mean, I'm not, 15 or 16 or just some kid who's drawing without thinking and just building up a lot of mileage. Instead, I am trying to overcome years and years of drawing much more realistically. And then a little bit stylized with caricatures, but not much style. And instead just looking at people who had cool styles and admiring them. So I kind of like this one, I guess. And then this has crazy hair. And then here, this is why it's called Bristol, because you can see, well, I hope you can see, but there's a difference between this paper and this paper. So normally I just use like sketching paper, and Bristol, it's just a paper that's heavier and smoother than, regular paper. So it takes marker better. It's much easier to erase on it. And I mean, you might have used it. It's pretty common. I used it a lot when I was younger in school. But this, I tried to draw the entire thing on Bristol, and it was really hard. I don't know if you can see, but it started with like a pen sketch here, the thin lines, and then just use some Copics. And the reason I'm doing Ms. Marvel is because the guy who commissioned me, he wanted me to draw a female character, and I let him know I had like yellow and pink Copics, but not much else. And so he looked for characters that fit this color scheme and chose Ms. Marvel. See here, the boobs like completely gone out here, and things. It was just like, okay, I guess I got some energy here, but really, this was a rude awakening. Like, whoa, this is very different. I completely lost my sense of proportions. You can see the style. Like, look at this character and then this character. It's really different. And so that was pretty scary. So I went back to my sketchbook then, and I thought, well, is it the pose? Maybe I should work on the poses. So I just, like I do this a lot where I'll look in the mirror and then just, in this case, I'm holding my sketchbook and then I'm drawing and then posing and looking and trying to remember and then go back and draw my sketchbook. And so I thought, okay, that's more foreshortened, and then tried to apply that to the character. And still, really uncomfortable with this character. So then here, I thought maybe it's because my proportions are suffering so much because I'm not drawing big enough. And I've been drawing so many crickets, right? These little small thumbnail characters. I've been doing that so much that it's very easy for me to do, a character that's, the size of her head, just the entire figure would be that big. That's pretty easy for me and I'm comfortable with it, but I'm not comfortable with a larger character. And so I thought, okay, let's do that more. Let's start doing bigger characters. So I did this one bigger, this face is bigger than I usually do. And this is part of getting out of your comfort zone, is realizing, okay, I have a weakness and I have to overcome this. But then what I thought is like, okay, let me go back and do the Bristol attempt. And this one was I feel it was even worse than the first one, like anatomy mistakes and just like this arm, it's too far out, and the style, like my cool style, you can see it here anyway. I mean, I'm calling it cool. It's maybe not cool to everybody, clearly, but this seems a lot nicer to me than this. And I tried to ink it, so these were the pencils, and then I tried to ink, and it's like, really, really not happy with this stuff. So back to my sketchbook. I guess this is sort of like, it takes a hit to my ego, and then I just feel like, maybe I should go sketch some more. So again, but keeping like things in mind for this character with big hair. How would I do the big hair? I don't know. And then here, I thought, okay, I shouldn't be drawing in my sketchbook because I need to practice on Bristol. Like, part of the struggle is I'm using a different material, and so my brain isn't used to this. This is where mileage is so important. Sure, there's this adage that, you could give Michelangelo, or you could have given Michelangelo a broom and he'd still be able to paint masterpieces with a broom and a bucket of ink or something. But it's really difficult because for me, my hand is really used to the paper feeling a certain way, to certain strokes. And so I started drawing with pen here, just doing basic things, basic ellipses. And it's like, wow, this is difficult. It shouldn't be this hard. But this really, again, a lot of trouble. So I thought, okay, instead of trying to do finished pieces, maybe the first thing to do is get comfortable with this. So I've told this to people before, I probably mentioned it on the Pointy Chins before, but it's how when you want to get out of your comfort zone, sometimes the best idea isn't to just jump into something brand new, but rather to inch your way into it. Take it slow. So start within, you're going into uncharted territory, but start with stuff you know. So what do I know? Well, I know how to draw figures a bit smaller and, just my own stuff. So it's like, okay, let's do that. Let's just draw with marker. And this is actually weird because there is like this box. All these characters were drawn with a lighter marker, but you can't see any of it. It didn't get picked up in the scan. So only some of the darker marker actually got picked up. But anyway, so that circle there, or that ellipse, actually had a marker behind it. And so it's like, okay, let's try this. And just some more stuff, figure out the legs. Now, something really weird was happening here. You can see this is bad. I mean, it's so bad it's almost painful with this scrunched up tiny little face. And it doesn't fit the body and stuff. And I guess the legs are really long because I was thinking about my style and thinking, how do legs work? And I don't know, it was just destroying me. Like this too. It's like, what is this? I felt like I wasn't the same artist anymore. Like everything I was working on was falling apart. I guess you would call this artist block. So this I just did in Photoshop. And I don't like this either. And then going back to Bristol, and I guess it was like a crisis thing, because I was like, am I this bad? Like, this face is pretty terrible. These aren't that appealing. This guy's okay, I guess. Some of the ellipses are okay, like that wider ellipse is okay. And trying things like these dinosaur things, but trying to make the lines very, the shading, build that up. There's this other old woman. I guess that's okay. And more, just, trying to get it back. Like, what is my style again? Or rather, how do I draw? And I don't think it's a bad thing to do this. Now, this arm, Jesus, look at this hand. So, and a part of it is just, even the colors and doing things that are unfamiliar. But I guess the advantage I have because I'm older is that I've been through these periods before. I know, like, just keep drawing, it'll work itself out. So I was feeling bad, but I wasn't panicking that much, It's just like, yeah, this isn't good, but I'll figure it out. And so here, trying to do my shapes some more. Again, these shapes, ellipses, faces, which aren't quite working. And this thing, I guess, is sort of form stuff. This too, horns and getting forms down. And more sketches to build up my mileage, because that's what I'm thinking right now. Like right now, the most important thing is for me to get more mileage with this unfamiliar tool or material. And here, it's like, yeah, it's okay. Here's some extreme foreshortening. Trying to do crazy hair. Trying to do faces. And here, it's like, okay, I'm comfortable enough, or at least I felt I was comfortable enough to revisit drawing larger characters. So, okay, draw this character. This doesn't work at all. And it was this case of, I don't know why, but when I drew big, I just couldn't hold on to the proportion. And so I realized, oh, I'm doing this the wrong way. How did I learn proportions in the first place when I was doing my crickets? And the way I did it was I went from the top of the head to the bottom of the crotch and then just double that distance. And then you get the bottom of the feet and then you work everything inside that. So it's like, okay, did that. I don't know if I did that here. I think I might have. And then for this one I did that. Yeah, I can see the lines. See, line, line, line. Just finding this distance, duplicate it, and it's like, okay, so that proportion's better. So that's what I was missing. I was treating these different than large crickets, which really I should have just been treating it like a very large cricket. And so here, same thing again, get the proportions, get the basics, treat it like a large cricket. And some more draftsmanship exercises, some more ellipses and lines that were vertical, and those are pretty bad. Some horizontal lines. It's much easier to do horizontal lines for me. And so I realized instead of doing vertical lines like this, it's better to just flip the page and do horizontal lines and then flip the page back. So then you have vertical lines. And here what I had done is, again, this is pre-convention. So I actually had done these cards before and colored them, but I didn't use this card. I thought, no, I'm not going to use that one for the convention. But whenever anyone saw it, they were like, that's cool, you should use that. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll use that one, and I'll use this one of the snake lady, and just made a bunch of versions of them. So I guess I'll just go through the versions. This one I guess I really liked. I don't hate any of them. I mean, at least with color, I feel a little more confident, although these are pretty basic. You know, it's just duochromatic color schemes, really, where you have two colors. So here it's green and red, and here it's, you know, blue and brown and orange, and, you know, it's not, maybe three colors, I guess. But yeah, here's this one. And this is probably my favorite color scheme here, this one. It looks just, I really like it with the icy colors, and that looks really nice. I don't know. It's one of the few pieces that I genuinely really like that I did. Like, not the pose and stuff, that's not that cool. The design is not that cool, but the colors, I like them. I still, again, I like all of the colors, because if I didn't like them, I wouldn't pick them. Like, it kind of wouldn't make sense to make a color scheme that I'm not happy with. So actually, I really like all of these color schemes. Just, I guess this one's my favorite, and I like this one too. And in print, this came out really nice. This looked like, I don't know, gold or something, some shiny material. So that was nice. And then back to the proportion. So here again, doing that proportion, but then here it just, this felt really wrong. I guess the head's too small as well. Yeah, in keeping with the proportion, that head's too small. Here it's getting a bit better. Here it's getting a bit better. And then here, I felt like, okay, let me just draw some more stuff and just faces and stuff I'm comfortable with. And I was drawing eyes, and it's like, this is not how to draw eyes. And you have to understand, I've drawn thousands and thousands of eyes, and that's what I'm really comfortable with. Like, I'm confident that I can draw decent eyes. And these were just like, this isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. How do I draw eyes? And I felt like I just forgot how to draw eyes. Sorry for my voice. I'm going through a flu, and my throat keeps cracking up. But anyway, yeah, so I got really scared about the eye thing, so I'm trying to draw it again. How did I draw eyes? This isn't working. This one's okay. This is kind of nice. And this is okay, but still not the way I used to do it. Not that good, but the proportions are getting better, so that's something good. It's like, okay, at least the proportions. I'm able to draw larger characters and not have them look like complete failures. And then this one's like, okay, getting back to things like, that's cool, the hair's nice, I'm happy with that, the eyes are decent, the nose, the mouth. I don't know if it makes sense when I say, like, I like these eyes better. I can't really put my finger on why. It just feels more appealing. So then I got my black pens, finally got my black pens back, so I don't have to use green anymore. But this head is all wrong. And so here, finally here, it's like, oh, that's looking like my style again. It's looking like it has energy. And so I thought, okay, I've got to get this commission done, because all of this stuff was for this commission that I hadn't done. It's like, I don't want to do a horrible job. Someone's paying me money to do something, and I'll tend to do this. Like, I'll refuse jobs if I think I can't do it, or I will go into training mode. And I had quite a bit of time between when this commission was requested and when the convention was, where I had to actually submit it. And I needed to wait for my black pens to arrive and stuff. So this is the pencil sketch of it. It's very loose, and I don't know. It's not like, I suppose it's not my best piece, but it was it was something that it's like, well, I tried my best, so I guess that counts for something. So here it's inked, and again, it's okay. It was a struggle. The hair is not perfect. It doesn't make perfect sense. but it's like, okay, whatever, you know. And then I erased all the lines, the pencil lines, and I used my Copics to color it. And so this is what it looked like after that. And yeah, it was, I guess this was a learning experience. The fan art was a lot harder than I thought it would be. And the character as well. And just that idea of losing proportions and stuff as things got bigger. Very new and very scary, but I'm actually pretty glad that I got through the process and I learned stuff, and it's like, okay, now I will keep that stuff in mind, you know. Sure, it's good to draw crickets all the time, but you should also try drawing full figures, because if you don't, you will be really bad at it. So, in the next episode, I'm going to be introducing a new tool to my arsenal, but this time it's going to be completely different than this horrible experience that Bristol was. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.